Just some rat-nibbled popcorn buckets. The door was locked and wouldn't open. The remnants of George's heroic sandbag lay everywhere. It made me smile. George was not one of God's tidiest creatures. The door was locked. I wondered what they were hiding down below. I didn't need a stick of grease paint. Besides, my makeup was just fine, understated to perfection. A backdrop depicting an alley. It certainly wasn't a scene in Paris. Paris is too clean. I couldn't hear anything moving on the other side of the door. I couldn't open the door. It was locked. Nothing but silence behind the door. I couldn't open the door. I couldn't leave yet. First, I needed a lead to Cesaro's location in Prague. The equipment had been trashed. It would never work again. Just as I thought, the door had been locked. I was here to get clues. I wasn't going to leave until my job was done. I wasn't going to try the machine. The nozzle looked like it had once been part of a biological weapons program. The cash register was jammed and wasn't going to open. Looking for old francs wasn't going to help. It was a bust, probably to hold jewelry for the actors. She reminded me of someone, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. It was a script for a vaudeville production. Ooh, my God, that's positively disgusting. The drawers had all been pulled out and emptied. Sanded down, that could be worth a bit of money. It was the hole in the floor made by the safe on its way through. George's trail of destruction was easy to follow. As the door was locked, I realized this was my only way down. Here goes! It was the support strut that had held up the safe. The door of the broken safe hung open, exposing the empty interior. What had happened to the art of safe cracking? There was nothing left in the safe but rust and dust. These were the old fuses for the electrics. From the state of the fuses, it was a miracle the theater never burned down. A rickety old ladder. Just a light breeze would bring that down. Nothing but silence behind the door.
worse.
Take that!
Not again!
This should keep you out of my way. Good job I had the scarf on me. Now, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? The briefcase was full of papers. Somebody had been making a quick getaway. What could be so terrifying it had made them just run away? And who was the figure in the cloak? I rifled through the briefcase, but there were just papers to do with the theater. Nothing pointed to Cesaro's dealings in Prague. It was some kind of security report for a private residence. Unfortunately, the report didn't include the address. Prague was certainly mentioned, but the actual location could have been anywhere. Tucked into the last pages was a photograph of a large castle. There was a dragon symbol on the back. There couldn't be too many castles like this in Prague. I had found enough to track down Cesaro. Is this the place?
Even spookier than the photo.
Sends a shiver up my spine.
Sure that's not your vampire-slaying genes kicking in?
Sorry, George. You're out of luck.
I hope Bruno's still in there. Now I'm really pissed.
Look on the bright side. We don't have to worry about car chases anymore.
I knew we should have taken that free upgrade. What do you think's wrong with it?
At a guess? Valves, gasket, cam belt, bearings, clutch, drive shaft, springs.
Ah, so nothing too serious then.
Be easier to build a new one from scratch.
The car had died, and there was nothing I could do to bring it back to life. I knew we should have taken that free upgrade. Nico looked as determined as ever. Nico?
Yes?
Any ideas on how to get inside?
If you were clever, you'd have brought plans of the place.
Oh, I would I?
Of course, I realize that's not your style.
Obviously not yours either.
No, I prefer the challenge of winging it.
My feelings exactly. Besides, there's usually a solution at hand.
I'm worried they might have already killed Bruno.
Well, let's hope he didn't tell him too much.
You're all heart, George.
Shame we can't fix it.
Let's face it, George, it wasn't exactly getaway material.
This castle looks really old.
Medieval, George.
Yeah, that too. By the way, have you and Labano...
Have we what?
Have you been doing that stuff?
What stuff?
Boy-girl stuff?
Oh, that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff.
Boy-girl stuff.
That's what I said.
Listen, George, Andre is a good friend.
Yeah? So it's just a coincidence he's around again?
He's an expert in ancient manuscripts. Who else was I going to call?
Oh, what's wrong with the very old, very ugly experts you see all over the place? Ugh. These were serious gates. They were also very locked. I tried to look through, but the gap between the gates was non-existent. I could hear a dog on the other side. Sounds like security's pretty tight.
I know. You distract the dog, and I'll take out the guard.
Oh, very funny. We're gonna have to be careful here, or we're dead. These were serious gates. They were also very locked. There was a small button to press. I was looking forward to meeting the butler. This guy was no butler.
What do you want?
Hi. Nice evening.
Clear off.
I was hoping you could help me. My car.
Tough.
But
This is private property. Get lost.
well, his interpersonal skill set needs a little work.
George, did you seriously expect him to open the gate for you?
Well, I certainly expected better manners. Nico?
Yes?
Hey, Nico, will you press this button?
What do you have in mind, George?
See if you can get the guard to open the gate.
Hey, you! Where are you going? Clear off!
Stuck on the top of the pillars was a pair of stone statues. Nice dragons.
We're not on the sculpture tour, George.
Just getting to grips with local culture. Nico,
Yes?
can you try to distract them again?
What do you want? Oh.
Bonjour, chérie. I have a tiny problem with my car. Could you help me with it?
Oh, I could help you with it, all right.
You are so kind.
You're French, aren't you?
God, that's incredible. How did you know?
Oh, I've been around. Hey, you! Where are you going? Clear off!
Nico,
Yes?
can you try to distract them again?
Look, I've already told you I can't help you.
Oh, but it's so lonely out here. Just talk to me for a little while.
All right, but only for a minute or two.
What's your name, chérie?
Boris, what's yours?
Helene.
Oh, that's a pretty name.
So's Boris.
Do you think so?
Oh, yes. Very sexy.
Really?
Boris. Boris. Je t'adore, Boris. Oh. I was hoping that George had the sense to take advantage of my performance. You must be very important guarding a place like this.
Yeah, well, big castle needs a big guy to guard it.
Oh, and you are a
Hey,
big
you!
guy, Boris.
Where are you going? Clear off!
The gates were secured, but not by any lock I could see. Looks like it's a car park.
Uh-oh. George, over there, in the light.
A couple of heavies with guns. Suddenly, patent law had its attractions. The ironwork was solid. Look up there, on the gate.
Some kind of sensor.
Maybe it opens the gates remotely. That wasn't such a good idea. No way was I doing that.
Get lost!
Nico,
Yes?
can you try to distract them again?
Look, Ellen, I can't keep coming out to talk to you.
Just talk a little longer, please, Boris.
Okay.
Do you live in Prague?
When I'm not on duty.
Oh, let's go there. Together. You and I. We could see the sights, have dinner, go dancing, walk hand in hand in the shimmering moonlight.
That's unlikely to happen.
What? Why not?
Gets quite cloudy at night, Prague. What about your boyfriend?
He's useless. I'm going to dump
Hey,
him
you!
anyway.
Where are you going? Clear off!
Stuck on the top of the pillars was a pair of stone statues. Stuck on the top of the pillars was a pair of stone statues. I had no reason to try that. Nico?
Yes?
Can you try to distract them again?
This is the last time, George. You'd better get inside this time.
Look, miss, this is...
I'd gotten over the first hurdle, but there were more guards inside, and some of them had dogs, too. Rooting around in trash cans. One of my little foibles. Sometimes you get lucky and find a real treasure. Hey, string! You never knew when a piece of string was going to come in handy. This trash can was empty. Apart from the garbage, of course. This trash can looked promising. America's best export, a burger. I put the half-eaten burger in my pocket. Must have been some kind of urban survival instinct at work. I was pretty sure I'd seen James Bond do something clever with foil once. Trouble was, I couldn't remember what. Nothing struck me as strange about the trash can. The windows were securely locked. All I could see inside were half-painted walls and a bunch of decorator stuff. The doors were heavy and solid-looking. I tried the doors, but they were locked. All I could see inside were half-painted walls and a bunch of decorator stuff. The doors were heavy and solid-looking. I tried the doors, but they were locked. There was no way to open the window. I could see more guards in the foyer. The building looked pretty classy inside.
Hey, you! Be quiet! Be quiet! What is it, boy? What is it, boy? Be quiet!
The fence looked pretty strong. Amazingly, the dog was even uglier than the guard. I sure was glad we had a fence between us. I hoped it wasn't choosy about what it ate. There was no time to go hunting for pickles. I hoped it wasn't choosy about what it ate. There was no time to go hunting for pickles. Not this time. Amazingly, the dog was even uglier than the guard. I sure was glad we had a fence between us. The fence looked pretty strong. The fence looked pretty strong. There wasn't a reason to try that. No way was I doing that. That wouldn't work here. And that wasn't quite right. There wasn't a reason to try that. I hoped it wasn't choosy about what it ate. There was no time to go hunting for pickles.
What are you doing near my dog?
I hoped it wasn't choosy about what it ate. There was no time to go hunting for pickles. Amazingly, the dog was even uglier than the guard. I sure was glad we had a fence between us. I hoped it wasn't choosy about what it ate. There was no time to go hunting for pickles.
Hey, what kept you?
Oh, just chatting to Boris about old girlfriends.
See the helicopter?
Yep, Cesaro's favorite airline.
George, you need to find a remote. That's how the gates work, I think.
I was glad Nico was with me. Hey, Nico, see any more guards you fancy?
You owe me big time for that one, George. My mouth tastes of cabbage.
So what's new?
Hey, watch it.
Oh, Boris. Boris.
Next time, you kiss Boris, okay?
I still haven't found a way to open these gates.
Come on, George. Kick ass. I heard the guard reporting in. That Petra woman is going to be here any minute. Look, there's some sort of sensor up there.
Okay, I'm on it. I couldn't open them from the inside either. No sounds came from behind the door. The small door looked out of place set into the wall like this. This wasn't the way in. There was a small button to press. The button opened the gate, but it closed again when I let go. That wasn't such a good idea. Nope, that wouldn't work here. I thought about it, but decided not to do it. The area behind the gate looked like a small store area. Some kind of handle had been wedged into the door at the back. There was no sign of a lock, but somehow it was fastened tight. There was no way I was going to get through this door without help. It was a remote with a single button on it. It was a small device with a button, maybe just the thing I was looking for. Looks like somebody had started to repair the Jeep and got bored. There was nothing in the glove compartment. Shazam!
Wonderful, George.
Uh-oh, here come the guards.
Let's hide.
Hey, Nico, see any more guards you fancy?
You owe me big time for that one, George. My mouth tastes of cabbage.
So what's new?
Hey, watch it.
Oh, Boris. Boris.
Next time, you kiss Boris, okay?
Hey, Nico, will you press that button?
What is it with you and buttons, George?
Just keep your finger on it until I get out again, okay? Now, which one's the lucky one? I needed all the luck I could get. There was a metal handle jammed into the doors. I thought I'd take the handle. I was improvising every step of the way. This wasn't the way in. There wasn't a reason to try that. The car jack was one of the heavy-duty types. The release handle was missing. The Jeep descended to the ground. Hey, Nico. See any more guards you fancy?
You owe me big time for that one, George. My mouth tastes of cabbage.
So what's new?
Hey, watch it.
Oh, Boris. Boris.
Next time, you kiss Boris, okay?
The doors were heavy and solid looking. I tried the doors, but they were locked. The car looked pretty sleek. They must have known I was coming. All locked. I let the handbrake off. Oops, there goes my no claims bonus. The drain pipe looked like the way onto the roofs. After you, Nico.
This is definitely not a case of ladies first.
Oh, you want me to test it out?
Well, obviously. George?
Whoa! Nico, watch out below! Jeez, only just made it. You were right!
Of course! I'm not stupid!
You're gonna have to find another way in if you can.
Okay, George. The bracket had fallen from the drain pipe when George climbed it. I thought the bracket might come in handy. No way was I doing that. The doors were locked. I didn't want to do that. That wasn't appropriate. That wasn't appropriate. The bad guys always got the best transport. I didn't know how to switch on the ignition, let alone fly it. There was no reason to try that. The button opened the gate, but only if I kept pressing it. I had no reason to do that. I thought the bracket might come in handy. The small window was slightly open. Through the glass, I could just make out a small storeroom. There was a small gap in the window, but it wouldn't open. It was awkward, but I managed to get the bracket into the gap and force the window open. Here goes. It was a large barrel, probably for storing ale or wine. They certainly got through a lot of drink here. The faucet was too stiff to move. I couldn't budge it. It was just an old barrel. I wasn't going to drink anything out of there. I turned the faucet, but nothing happened. The barrel was empty. A dented and rusted suit of armor. There was no way I could walk around in that. The armor was old and rusty. I didn't want to touch it in case it made a noise. Nothing but silence behind the door.
So, this Petra, they say she's a bit of a one.
Oh, yes. Takes pleasure in killing. Regards it as an art form.
Nasty.
One poor guy she tortured, took him a week to die.
How'd she do that then?
They called it the doner kebab.
Oh, you don't mean...
That's right. Everything just the same. Apart from the salad, of course.
And the pita bread?
Obviously.
What's she look like then?
Short blonde hair. That's all I know. I never got closer.
Don't blame you. She might get ideas.
Too right.
Chicken nuggets, for example.
Hot dog and beans.
Ouch!
If they saw me, I was done for. I had to find a way to walk around without attracting attention. But for now, I had to play the quiet mouse.
Did you hear something?
Not sure. Was it from upstairs?
Sounded like it.
You take the side stairs and I'll go up here. If there's anyone there, we'll have them trapped.
I had to hide or get caught.
Did you see anything up the side stairs?
Yet nothing.
Stay alert anyway. This place gives me the creeps.
Nothing but silence behind the door. The door was shut fast and wouldn't open. All was quiet. I couldn't open the door. Nothing but silence behind the door. Nothing but silence behind the door. The door was shut fast and wouldn't open. The door may have been too thick, but I couldn't hear anything. Just another locked door. Nothing but silence behind the door. A large, highly polished dresser. Someone had interesting taste in furniture. The dresser was locked. Even for an antique, the lock was sturdy. It was an ornate hand basin. The fixtures and fittings were very old. The hand basin had hot and cold running water. Cold running water anyway. It was a large luggage case. Petra's name was on the label. She certainly didn't travel light. The case was empty, apart from a wig. Surprise, surprise. It was another large luggage case. There was one thing she and I had in common. You can never have too many clothes. A cordless hairdryer lay on top of the clothes in the case. For the woman who likes to live life to the full. Petra certainly had a new take on that idea. I picked up the hairdryer. I picked up the wig. At the very least, it would stop her from using it again to impersonate me. I picked the wig up again while I thought about what I should do. The wig didn't need drying when it wasn't wet. I had no reason to do that. Apart from a range of tacky clothes, there was nothing left in the case. I picked the wig up again while I thought about what I should do. That's interesting. The case looked a lot smaller on the inside. The base sounded hollow. I guess there was a hidden compartment inside. All I had to do was find a way of opening it. That wasn't the right thing to do. No way was I doing that. I felt around the interior, trying to access the hidden compartment. Aha! Tucked into one corner was a tiny button. Damn! My fingers were too large to press the button. Oh my God! I doubted she used the knives to open letters. The weapons were all locked in place. I picked up the sharpening stone. Just another locked door. Dressed like this, the guards would recognize me as an intruder straight away. All was quiet. I couldn't open the door. It was locked. I couldn't hear anything moving on the other side of the door. A chef was cutting vegetables at a chopping board. He was struggling and didn't look too happy. The chef was giving those vegetables hell. Hi there. Do you have a moment?
A moment? Well now, let me think. I've 50 dinners to cook for 50 fat guzzling guards, with pudding I might add, plus one vegan speciality de la maison for Madame Petra, plus one macrobiotic for senior sensitive skin Susaro, I've got no assistants, I've got a kitchen out of the Stone Age, and she asks, do I have a moment? No, woman, I do not have a flaming moment! Just get out of my kitchen!
The answer's no, then.
Yes, the answer's no! Who the hell are you, anyway?
Susan.
Susan? What kind of a pathetic, girly name is that?
It's a name for a girl.
Well, change it. I don't like it.
Excuse me, but could you make use of this?
A grindstone. Finally, somebody in this godforsaken kitchen is using a bit of initiative. Don't suppose you fancy a job as kitchen assistant? The money's crap, the hours stink, conditions are worse, but it'll make a man out of you.
No thanks.
Young people today don't know which side their bread's buttered.
Just one more question. How did you end up here?
Give 70 people food poisoning just once, and you pay for it for the rest of your life.
I must remember not to eat anything while I'm here. The vegetables had been badly sliced. What was this guy using? A hammer and chisel? Presentation was obviously not his strong point. Suddenly, I didn't have much of an appetite. The warning signs all over the bottle left me in no doubt as to what it was. It was a large bottle of industrial bleach. Now that the chef wasn't watching, I could reach the bleach. It was a large glass-fronted freezer. Inside I could see frozen hams and chickens all stacked up on the shelves. There was enough to feed an army. Cesaro's army. I hoped it would bleach the wig blonde. The bleach was strong. The wig's color disappeared almost instantly. The wig was soaking wet. I didn't want to carry that around with me. Besides, the bleach would have dripped onto my clothes. Somehow I didn't think Petra was into tie-dye. The hairdryer was perfect. I fancied one of them for myself. Voila! Perfectly dry now. Showtime.
Hey, who's there?
Uh-oh.
No sounds came from behind the door. Nope, not that way. Silence. That was either a sign, or there was just no one behind the door. That door wasn't going to open. It was a beautifully carved gargoyle. It stared at me with its beady little eyes. There's only so much you can do with a gargoyle, so I decided to leave it alone. There's only so much you can do with a gargoyle, so I decided to leave it alone. The gargoyle was damaged by years of rain and wind. It looked as if it would fall off with just a gentle push. I'm all for conservation, but needs must if the devil drives. The window was open. They obviously didn't think they needed tight security up here, but no one is safe from George the Cat Stobart. It was an old, ornate oil lamp. It looked like it hadn't been used for years. The lamp had an old knob that I guessed was for turning it on. Ugh! Yuck! At least the knob worked. As soon as I turned the knob, the oil stopped dripping. The oil started to drip again. That wouldn't work here. No way was I doing that. The oil dripping onto the floor was a fire hazard. Either the door was stuck, or it was just locked. The window led to another area of the castle. I could see a walkway on the other side. There was an old iron grate set into the floor. Below it was a pit with a window that led into the castle. There was a chance that I could have got through there if I lifted the grate. The grate only opened a little way. The hinges were badly rusted. There had to be a way to free those hinges. Nope, that wouldn't work here. No sounds came from behind the door. Either the door was stuck, or it was just locked. It was an old drain pipe, rusted and bent. An offshoot pipe had been blocked by an old tin cup. The old drain pipe ran up the wall, but looked like it was broken. Just as well, the pipe was wet and slimy. The oil started to drip again. I collected a small amount of oil in the old cup. The oil dripping onto the floor was a fire hazard. I hoped the oil would free the hinges. I could almost hear the hinges sighing with relief. Here goes. A book title sprang to mind. 1,001 Uses for Lamp Oil.
Madame Petra, we didn't hear you arrive.
Obviously.
And did you have a pleasant journey?
No. Now get back to your jobs. Both of you.
Our apologies, ma'am.
Security is too lax around here.
Yes, ma'am. Your belongings have been taken up to your apartment.
Good.
Miserable bitch.
Just some delivery notes. Some were for food, others for washing powder. I would have hated to do the laundry for this lot. The guard was sitting at the desk reading. It looked like a children's book. Any news?
It's been pretty quiet.
What about an attack from inside?
Everything is battened down tight.
Good. Now, would you care to explain why you are reading on duty?
Just trying to improve myself, ma'am.
Do it again, and the next book you buy will be in Braille.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
Where was the prisoner taken?
To Senor Suzara's office in the lower levels.
Is he on his own?
2 guards went with him, ma'am. He cannot escape.
For your sake, he'd better not. The door looked pretty secure. It wouldn't have looked out of place in Fort Knox. The security door had no handle or visible way of opening it, but there was a card reader on the wall. I have some questions. The security door over there. Could anyone get through it?
No, ma'am. It's the most secure there is. Oh, by the way, ma'am, have you had a chance to see the security sergeant yet?
Yes, we've spoken.
Okay. Then you'll already have your pass card for the door.
The guard looked pretty unpleasant and smelled even worse. Hello. I wonder if you can help me.
Are you Madame Petra?
That's right.
How can I help you, ma'am?
That's a very fierce-looking dog.
Trained to kill as soon as he's released, ma'am.
Good. Just don't release him near me. Understand?
No, ma'am. You hear that, rascal? You're not to hurt a nice lady.
Rascal? What's your job here?
To make sure that no one gets through the front entrance, ma'am.
I fought the urge to tell him to drop and give me 20. How many men do we have on the grounds?
A double complement on the perimeter, ma'am. No one gets in or out without us knowing. Guaranteed.
If that was his idea of a guarantee, I wasn't shopping for watches locally. Anything to report?
There was a broken-down car near the front gate.
Anything suspicious?
Just some stupid French woman who probably ran out of gas.
I was going to remember this guy. Stupid French woman, indeed. It was the security layout for some part of the building. I had no idea where. I didn't really want to go messing with things I didn't know about. There was a large group of computers all whirring loudly. I wasn't about to go switching off the computers. The computer was processing something, but what? I was risking my life here dressed as Petra. The last thing I wanted to do was break something and draw attention to myself. The woman was hunched over a computer terminal. She was really into her work and doing a fine job of ignoring me. Excuse me.
Please, ma'am, do not interrupt me. I cannot afford mistakes.
I need you to answer a few questions. What exactly is it that you are doing?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I have strict instructions to report only to Senor Suzaro until we have finished our preparations for the armillery.
Yes, of course.